My image shows how the Japanese internment camps split up families and changed lives forever just because these people were Japanese, not because they had committed any crimes or spied on America, just because of their race. While researching the internment camps, I found one man who truly stands out as the civil rights leader who fought the camps. His name was Fred Korematsu. Fred Korematsu was born in 1919 in Oakland, California. His parents were Japanese immigrants. He was a welder in the San Francisco shipyards, owned a convertible, and was in love with his Italian-American girlfriend. They were picnicking on December 7th, 1941, when Pearl Harbor was attacked by the Japanese. He was 23 years old and had no idea that that day would change his life forever. As a result of the attack, Franklin Delano Roosevelt ordered Executive Order 9066 on February 19, 1942. This order called for the internment of all citizens of Japanese ancestry. Fred's family was taken to Tanforan, an old racetrack south of San Francisco, for processing. There were around 120,000 Japanese American citizens on the West Coast at the time, and the majority of them complied with Order 9066. Fred did not. He insisted that it was unconstitutional and that he was being racially discriminated. Fred Korematsu said the following quote about Order 9066 and the 120,000 citizens that complied with it. Fred tried to remain unnoticed, changed his name, and even got plastic surgery. But on May 30th, 1942, he was arrested and sent to Tanforan. Fred and his family were being processed and sent to Topaz internment camp in Utah. Persuaded by Ernest Bissig, the executive director of the American Civil Liberties Union of Northern California, Fred filed a case on June 12, 1942, saying that his constitutional rights had been violated and that the internment was racial discrimination. The courts ruled against him, and he was sentenced to a 5-year probation. He later filed an appeal with the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals and later with the United States Supreme Court. In December 1944, the Supreme Court ruled against him, saying that the internment was justified to combat sabotage and espionage in the United States. Peter Irons, law professor, found evidence that the Justice Department had misinterpreted facts to the Supreme Court. Fred and Peter decided to reopen the case. Peter got together a legal team of Asian American lawyers who, working together, uncovered documents that showed that the government had concealed evidence that showed that the internment order was, in fact, racially motivated, instead of militarily motivated, as ruled in 1944. 1983. 39 years after the 1944 case, a federal judge reversed Fred Korematsu's conviction and acknowledged the great wrong that had been done to him. Current legal scholars agree that the 1944 conviction against Fred Korematsu was one of the worst rulings in Supreme Court history. Ken Thayson, communications director for Bay Area Legal Aid, said the following of Fred Korematsu. In 1988, Fred Korematsu won a national apology for internment camp survivors and their families. In 1998, he was awarded the Presidential Medal of Freedom, the highest honor a civilian can obtain. He was awarded this by former President Bill Clinton. Bill Clinton said the following as he awarded Fred Korematsu the Presidential Medal of Freedom. He was also awarded an honorary law degree from California State University. After 9/11, Fred spoke out against the Patriot Act, saying that it violated civil rights and was racially motivated towards Arabs, Middle Easterners, and Muslims in America. He also defends them against hate crimes that they have experienced since 9/11. Fred Korematsu made the following statement about what is happening in America today after 9/11. Fred Korematsu was 86 years old when he died from a respiratory illness. He leaves behind a wife named Catherine, a son, Ken, and a daughter named Karen. Fred Korematsu is a civil rights leader who many people have never heard of. He openly was against the racially motivated internment of Japanese American citizens and again with the treatment of Arab Americans since 9/11. Here he can be seen with Rosa Parks, a fellow civil rights leader and winner of the Presidential Medal of Freedom. Here again he can be seen on the left, along with other civil rights activists fighting the Japanese internment camps. Minoru Yasui is in the middle, and Gordon Hirabayashi is on the right. Fred Korematsu is another of the influential civil rights activists who has made America a better place for all people. Thank you for watching, and I hope that you've learned something from all this.